What's going on, guys? Crucible here, and today we are going to be breaking down and taking a look at not only our tier list, but actually looking at what the meta is doing currently in the current landscape and seeing how accurate we were with our predictions here. Now, excuse me, I am still recovering from a cold of sorts. I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat still, but for the most part, I'm feeling a lot better than I have been, which is why I'm now kind of doing this video now. So if I do try to clear my throat over the course of the video, I do apologize. That's me just trying to get over whatever I'm dealing with, right? Okay, so just to kind of recap where we kind of placed everything here. This is the list that we did for our tier list video. And obviously there were some people that very much disagreed with what was being said. And you know what? You're entitled to your opinion. Perfectly okay. But the meta is basically like what is topping events, what is like actually like winning the various events that are kind of out there. Very good are top 16 contenders. These are decks that we are going to be seeing more times than not in the top 16. And then pretty good is things that could hit top 16, but are kind of bogged down by the top 2 tiers. For the most part, okay is okay, could be worse is things that, you know, could probably be a little bit better than what they are. And then obviously unplayable is unplayable. So we're going to be using Eggman events. Shout out to Eggman for not only hosting events, but also providing, ample coverage for all of the events that are kind of going on in the world for Fusion World. It's very much appreciated. So let's kind of take a look at what's going on here. So I pulled up, we're on Wish for Shenron, which is the current meta. And if we start looking from like when set 7 kind of released, looks like it only starts back here. So things kind of started off a little rough. Mostly Cell, mostly Kid Buu. I did say in my tier list video that the meta in terms of what the top dogs are, which for the Manga Booster set was Cell, was Kid Buu. Those decks were not going anywhere. I said that in my tier list video, and as you can clearly see from all these different events, that still remains to be the case. Like it's at least in the early onset of set 7. Early onset of set 7, Kid Buu and Cell still kind of ran the place. We had some things kind of trickle in here and there. This is going back to the Tokyo qualifiers. Where we had 16 Cells, 11 Kid Buus, 3 Sin Shenrons, 1 Shenron, 1 Piccolo, right? And Sin Shenron actually ended up taking that one, which is actually really good. Kind of shows that, you know, Cell isn't like, Cell and Buu are not the only ones that are able to contend with the meta, correct? So we had a Sin Shenron here. But then obviously Cell, Buu, Cell, Buu, Sin, Cell, Piccolo, Shenron, and Cell. So it's kind of cool that Shenron kind of made it here. Let's take a look at some of these new contenders. We're not going to really spend too much time looking into Buu and Cell because for the most part they are kind of just running the exact same stuff that they kind of have been. Yeah, see, like Cell is basically, they basically adopted the Son Goku Daima Mini SR for Self-Awakening because one of the things that I've noticed from some of the events, from watching some of the live events, is that people are trying to stall out Cell in his awakening, and so they use the Son Goku Mini to kind of get around that. Which, I mean, makes sense because, you know, if multiples of these are able to stick onto the board, then you have a couple 30Ks on the board, which is kind of crazy, which can be a little oppressive, right? So makes sense. And then for obviously Kid Buu, excuse me. I guess there's no list for that Kid Buu. There's no list for that Kid Buu. All right, we'll look at the Kid Buu later. But we go and we kind of take a look at like Sin, and Sin's doing like what we kind of expected him to do, right? He's running more of the Natron stuff than the Oceanus or the SR Nova. The Rage Shenron is not present here, obviously, so looks like we're focusing on the Natron Shenron for the draw power and the cycling. Haze Shenron for Self-Awakening, Black Smoke for Self-Awakening, or not Self-Awakening, but for milling. We're adding in the 2-cost Vegeta from set 5 to kind of mill out our deck while also Self-Awakening, so that's just kind of standard, right? We'll look at Piccolo later, but let's take a look at Shenron here and just see what Shenron's kind of doing. Yeah, so obviously just straight up Dragon Balls. 3 of the secret rares here. Full playsets of the Son Goku here, which I think is kind of high. I can understand running the Goku Bardock and the Goku here for the combo power off of the Roshi. It's 100% understandable. I get it. Because I do the same exact thing. I run 3 or 4 of the UI, but I'm only running 2 of the 5 cost here. So 4 might seem like a little high. It seems like a lot of dead combo. Or dead hand. Like, you're running a lot of dead cards in this deck. So, like, I feel like running this at a 4 of seems like it might be a little high. But, I mean, this is relatively standard, right? Some Hercules when you have marker to be able to get some cards back, like the Bulmas. The Bulmas kind of help in that regard. Giru is top 3 for just 1 energy. Pretty solid. And then, yeah. So, I mean, that's standard. These are all standard. So, for this first tournament, obviously, Cell and Buu just kind of ran it. But Oceanus, Omega was able to kind of come out on top. Then we look at the one in Aichi, which I think was also Japan, right? Where we had 6 Cells, 4 Majin Buu Evils, 2 Super Buus, and then 2 Piccolos, 2 Sins. And unfortunately, Cell and Buu just kind of took that one. Yeah, they just kind of ran stuff here. Yeah, this is more of the aggressive build. No extra cards whatsoever. Double resters. Some freezers. Yep. That's kind of standard. More standard than not. So yeah, and then Piccolo is showcasing, Omega is showcasing there. So these early tournaments, I mean, whoops, oh my god. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I accidentally clicked out of the window. I'm rusty. It's been about a week since I've actually recorded a video. So, yeah, so I mean, in these early showcases, these early tournaments and stuff going on here, it's been kind of just more of the same. Nothing else. Like, even like with Eggman's event here, his Eggman Triple Win-A-Box event, we can go and look at like what was kind of going on in this particular thing. The top 8 leaders. There was a green cell in the top 8 leaders for Eggman's event, which was interesting. But I mean, like, you could see that there's more variety. People came into this event with more variety than not. But just the top 8 leaders for his particular event are once again more or less the same. But again, Cell was able to win it. Buu was second. Super Buu was up here. Let's take a look at the green Cell just to see what they were kind of doing. Okay, they were doing tragedy stuff. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, this Cell needs help. I think this Cell needs a lot of help. They haven't really given him any like good like archetypal support for him, and that's a little unfortunate. So he's just running a lot of like generically good green stuff and just kind of going from that. Yep. So I mean, we got Golden Frieza up here, Kid Goku, Bardock, Vegito. All of these decks are very solid. We are going to readjust our list here once we go through the actual meta, and just kind of like readjust some things. But I mean, yeah, I mean, all these decks have gotten solid support over the past like couple sets. Goku's a lot better than he was. Vegito's a lot better than he was. Bardock is a lot better than he was. Kid Goku is more of the same from the manga booster, but he's still very solid. All things considered. So, but that was back in towards like mid to early late September. Then we go on to the past like week or two, and we got the Fuoka qualifiers, and this was obviously just Cell, Buu, Omega. 3 Cells, 3 Majin Buus, 2 Omegas. I think people saw that Omega actually had a solid chance in the meta and decided to run more of him. But once again, Cell just kind of took the top there. Omega got third, which is still commendable. That's still really good. Kid Buu didn't have as good of a showing as they did before, but yeah, I mean, Sin is here. He's just, unfortunately, Cell in this particular one just was able to just keep up. Then we get into the October events, and the October events were actually very, very telling. We go into the Seville regionals here, and we had 2 Piccolos, 2 Sins, 1 Cell, 1 King Goma, and 1 Majin Buu Evil. And this is the top 8 cut, and Piccolo actually took it. So let's take a look at what Piccolo was actually kind of doing here. Yep, focusing on some Pan stuff. We got the Hercules in here to kind of get our 1-drops back in the hand. The Krillin's very important in this build. So Piccolo's very important. Pan is very important, obviously. Extra draw power with the Bulma here is important. And I want to believe the reason that this happens is because, or they're building it this way, is just due to the fact that sometimes you just have so much open energy, even after playing Beast Gohan and stuff, and you may not necessarily have your high-end cost to play off of the open 5 energy you get back from Beast. So the idea is that you would just build up your hand size, using Hercules to get Earthlings back, freeze something down, maybe you search for more, maybe you draw for more. It's very, very good. For what it's doing. But yeah, no extras are being run, which is kind of interesting. Double Broly's, 1 Secret Rare Goku, 4 of the Beast. One thing I have been seeing players using in Orange Piccolo is the 7-cost Secret Rare Gohan for the low-end board wiping. Sometimes it is just important to kind of have that. Piccolo doesn't have a good means of just straight-up removal until you get this guy out. But all in all, yeah, I mean, this is a really standard build for Piccolo. So Piccolo did end up winning, so that is actually really good. Omega's the same, Piccolo's probably the same. Is this Piccolo doing anything different? This Piccolo is running one of the Chi-Lai BRs, probably for the mirror. So that way, like, if like this Broly comes down, right, then this Chi-Lai protects all your stuff, right? We're running the 2-cost 18s, which makes sense because, 18, cycles your hand out, filters your hand, allows you to put your 5-cost 3-cost or higher superhero pieces into the drop, so it can work with this Gohan. And then in the late game, it just draws you extra hand. So very solid there. Then let's take a good look at King Goma. I mean, I don't think there's really much to say about King Goma. King Goma here is very standard for the most part. My showcase with Goma shows that, like, obviously Giant Goma is a big benefit to this deck. Just being able to have this new Majin Buu is very good as well, to be able to be played off field for free, or with the Arinsu. If you're at 4 energy, you're able to play this out for 1 and get an energy back, basically allowing you to play some of your your fields. Maybe you play Marbo to play out a different field. Like, there's a bunch of different things you can do with this. Seeing the resting Majin Buu here is interesting. I'm assuming this is for, like, stalling out for stall tactics. Maybe it's only in here for combo. I would have liked to see what this looked like using this card, but... And then, obviously, we got the Majin Ku here, who cannot be switched to active in the charge phase, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, this card can be switched back to active with Demon King Palace, so that is obviously a tech option for when King Goma is not on the board. You have a extra 30k swing every single turn. That's not bad. So, King Goma here, very standard, but, still really cool that he's actually up here in the top 8 leaders, which is actually pretty cool. And then we go on to the most recent event, which was the Los Angeles Regionals. And this one has the most variety that we have seen in a while. Obviously, we're going to have top 16s here. We got 6 Cells, 3 Majin Buus. Once again, just Cell and Buu just continue to have presence in this current meta. Nothing's really changing too much in that regard. If we go and we look at the top 2 decks, we obviously see that... Majin Buu Evil and Cell are still taking wins. They're still getting wins here. Third place was a Vegeta, which is very surprising. But with only seeing 3 Buus, there probably was a lot more Buus out of the 112 players that were kind of there, right? But so I'm assuming that this Vegeta probably ran into not a whole lot of Boos to be able to get to this spot. So I think that's pretty cool. Cell, Sin is here. More Buu, more Cell. We did have a Beerus. Beerus is definitely up here in placing, which is interesting. Again, I think some of these... This is a very standard build for Beerus. There's not really much here to really talk about. This is just what Beerus has done for the past several sets, but it's still just cool to see him here. Again, I think some of these leaders, I think, are more so getting placements due to the fact of what their matchups were, not because of how... It doesn't really speak to how well the decks are. It's just a matter of how well their matchups were, right? Like this Beerus probably never ran into a Cell, or something like that, something along those lines, right? So yeah, we got Jiren. Jiren is... Yeah, Jiren's kind of doing more of the same. I mean, Kamehameha is a tech piece that's been seeing more and more use in decks like this. But the extras are the same. You know, this is all the same for the most part. Hit is an interesting inclusion, but I get it at the same time. Yeah, this is more or less standard as well for Jiren. We got Broly BR. Broly BR did get top 16 as well, which is pretty cool. We're kind of looking at this. It looks like we're completely foregoing the combo power 4 cost Brolys for the double swinger Broly and the 30k swinger Broly, which is interesting. Going for full Chilai, full Paragus, full Ba. 3 Broly BRs, 4 of the other 8 costs, 3 of the triple strike, 2 of this. Makes sense. Instant being here makes sense. Rampage control now makes sense because Chilai exists, so having... so I get that. Planet Vampa makes sense. 4 Shuddering Roars seems like a lot, though. I don't know if I agree with 4 Shuddering Roars. Yeah, it's a card that replaces itself, but you're only KOing 1 card every... Like, you're only KOing 1 card with this. Which, if you are able to establish your board, like, your Brolys can just take care of board anyway. So, I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like you could probably run this at a 2 of and be okay, but... yeah, I mean, Broly did get top 16, though, so who am I to say, right? But yeah, that's kind of the events here. So as we kind of recap what this meta is kind of looking like, it started off more of the same. Sin got a lot of representation, which is really good. And Orange Piccolo was seeing some placements, but he wasn't really doing all that well. He wasn't like topping events like I initially thought. But then we did see he did win an event. Once the meta kind of fleshed itself out a little bit, the meta has kind of like shifted. Like it's still Cell, it's still Buu, but Omega's up here. We got Orange Piccolo winning an event. We are seeing Goma getting top 8, top 16. We're seeing Yellow Vegeta, Beerus, Jiren, Broly. I think a lot of these decks, like we're seeing the meta like kind of round itself out now. Like we still have our top contenders in Cell and Buu, but now there's other pieces of the puzzle that are now able to play just as well as they are. And we're seeing more variety, which is what I said in our initial video. Our tier list video, I said that it was going to be more of the same in terms of like who was going to win, but we were going to see a lot more variety going into it. So I think that's actually really, really good. Now, when we look at our tier list and what probably needs to be shifted around here, I do think that Vegeta is still good, but Vegeta is still good, but I think Vegeta is going to have to come down to very good to a top 16 placement. And he's going to obviously get replaced with Omega. I think Omega is... obviously, Omega won an event. Omega has been topping consistently. I think Omega... You can justify Omega actually being here. Just because he's able to do so well. Piccolo won an event, and he's been top 16ing as well, so he deserves to be up here. And then obviously these two are allowed to be up here as well. Very good, which I said was our top 16 list. This needs a little bit of adjusting. We got a Shenron in the top 16. which is interesting. So I did say that he would be like a very high rolly deck that could just luck his way into the top 16. I do think that that is very much the case. However, he's only... I'm going to bring up Eggman events thing one more time, just so we can get proper coverage of what he's actually doing here. Yeah, like Omega, or not Omega Shenron. Regular Shenron's not anywhere in the past like 2-week events anywhere. And he really only kind of showcased himself here in the Tokyo qualifiers. So while I do think that he has the potential to actually be a top 16 contender, I am going to bring him down to pretty good, just because, again, like, he hasn't been consistently getting top 16. So he's going to come down here to pretty good. Again, very luck dependent. You're going to need to, very luck dependent. You're going to need to see your pieces. And honestly, I think with the manga booster set, second manga booster set, he's going to be a lot better because he's going to get much more consistency going into that meta. But we've not seen any of the Daima characters, which is a shame. I think Evolve is better than I think people give it credit for, but I do think with some of the things that these other decks are doing, I think it can be just a little bit slow. So I'm going to move these all down to pretty good, because I just don't think that they're top 16 contenders at this point. Goma, top 16. Broly, top 16. I'm very surprised that Android 16 or Android 18 is not up here. She's not been seen at all, so I am going to put her down in pretty good. Green Vegeta, same, is going to get moved down to pretty good. Giblet hasn't really gotten a whole lot, so he's also going to get moved down to pretty good. So as we can see, our top 16 predictions definitely greatly shifted. But we were right on some things. Goma is definitely still up here. Super Buu is still up here. Broly BR is still up here. Yellow Vegeta is up here. I think we can... Where's Beerus? Yeah, we're going to keep Beerus at okay. Again, I think Beerus being able to hit top 16 is more so just due to the fact that this Beerus player may not have they just probably ran into like the best possible outcome, right? Their matchups were not all that hard for them to go into. Jiren, same with Jiren. This is once again, this is the only time Jiren's popped up. So I want to believe it's more matchup than it is anything else, but we will keep Jiren here just because I think Jiren can be a little bit better than Beerus is able to be at this particular junction. Everything else that's kind of here is, I think, accurate. I mean, yeah, I want to say that like our pretty good section is actually pretty accurate. All of these decks have gotten better. Gohan's new promo support's really good. Goku Black's promo support's really good. Vegito's new card is very good. Goku's stuff is a lot better for the early game. Cooler has made a resounding comeback. This Frieza, I've not seen this Frieza too much. I think I'm going to move this Frieza down to just okay. Despite the fact that, you know, he's kind of running the same things Cooler is. Does anything here need to get moved around? No, I think this is more or less the same. I've been seeing some people saying Android 17 and Android 18 deserve to be a lot higher on this list. I don't think so. Like, even on the client, I do not see these guys anywhere on the client anymore. Everything that's in this okay tier is stuff that I am just not seeing often. Gohan did see a little bit of a comeback. Maybe we move Gohan up here just a little bit. No, I'm going to keep him in okay. Just because I think any of these decks have the possibility of getting a top 16 placement. We see the variety that's happening here, right? So I think it's possible that any of these leaders that are in the pretty good tier can potentially get top 16. Gohan, I just don't think is going to be seeing top 16, at least until the next manga booster set. Seems like he's going to get a lot of support in the manga booster set. Down here in the could be worse tier, I am going to make one correction, and I am going to move Golden Frieza up a tier. Just seeing what he's doing on the client and whatnot. Again, my placement of him being and could be worse is not because of his support. His actual deck itself is actually really good. And there's a reason why Cooler is up here and Frieza is up here, right? Because Cooler and Frieza are using the same exact package for the most part that Golden Frieza is using. They're utilizing the Meta Cooler card. They're using the Drawing Cooler card. They're using the 5-cost blocker that can stun an energy. Like, there's things that are being used in these decks that Golden Frieza is using. The only reason I only ever put Golden Frieza down here is because his leader ability, it does not warrant, in my opinion still, it does not warrant his inclusion in the current meta. The current meta is just way too much for him. As we can see in this current meta, he is nowhere to be found. Not even in a top 16 placement, not even in a top fringe placement. But that being said, in certain matchups, he actually can completely sweep you. So for that reason, I will be moving him up to probably top of okay. I think, depending on your matchup, I think he can be pretty good. But I still think that the meta is kind of hunkering him down, and it's not helping him much. I think when the Manga Booster set support comes out, I think he's going to be a lot better. There's going to be the 2-cost Frieza that lets you... there's a 2-cost Frieza that lets you play out a card, I think, right? And then there's the 3-cost Frieza that protects your board. So there's things like that that are actually going to help this Golden Frieza be even more of a obstacle than he is already. So yeah, I think Golden Frieza is definitely better than I gave him credit for, but I still think Cooler is standing out more than Golden Frieza right now. Cooler, I don't know, man. Cooler has been killing it. But yeah, that's our list. That's the adjustment to our list. That is the meta right now. Like I said, big change in the top 16 list here. I think there's also an argument too where I can maybe move like Broly down to pretty good because he's not consistently topping in the regional. You could probably make the same argument with Goma. And you could make the same argument, I guess, for Yellow Vegeta, huh? I'm gonna leave it here. I think we're starting to get really like nitpicky. I think yeah, because I mean, Super Buu's consistently getting top 16. He's got to consistently stay here. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as is. We're starting to get to the point where like I'm gonna start like nitpicking every little thing, and we don't need to be here for another hour. So but yeah, no, the meta shifted around, I think, for the better. Obviously, Cell and Buu are still problem children in the current meta, but I do think that with more variety, I think I am pretty spot on in my initial prediction that yeah, it's going to be more of the same, but it's not going to be more of the same. We're seeing variety, and that's what I wanted from this particular meta. Just I didn't want to see more Buu, more Cell. I wanted to see a large variety of things that have been kind of popping up. So the fact that we're seeing it, I think is pretty good. I'm going to assume that with the Manga Booster, we're going to see even more. We're going to be seeing even more variety being shown here. Whether the new decks will actually be able to top or even be meta, kind of hard to say right now. At least until testing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the meta down below. I know things are a little hectic and bleak right now, but I'm hoping that with the second Manga Booster and Set 8 being right around the corner from us, that this meta will shift to even more so. Hopefully, at least before the second anniversary, because second anniversary, we're not going to be seeing any new cards until March once Set 8 drops. So The meta does kind of need to fix itself. Otherwise, we're going to be in for a long, long wait. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe for more Fusion World content. I will see you guys all in the next Fusion World video. Peace.